Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it is for you. My name is Justin Coolimp, and that whole host of names you've always heard me joke about. And today I'm not doing a Kingdom Hearts video, I'm doing another Destiny 2 video. I've been really into this game recently, and I figured why not let me do a theory, kind of a theory crafting video for this. But this isn't going to be necessarily a theory, it's what I think should happen for post the final shape. Now, I'm going to be honest, I think Destiny 2 is essentially done. I think after the final shape, there should not be another expansion within Destiny 2. I think they need to make the conscious choice and move to Destiny 3. And probably, I don't know much about the engine that's used, but that's not going to be my argument today. Um, so I don't know about the engine, so I'm not going to argue that the engine should be the reason why we changed. This is entirely a narrative position as I fuck up this jump. Um, so that narrative position is this. We are looking at a situation where we're going to be concluding an entire arc. Now that the witness is gone, originally introduced in Destiny 1, um, we are going to go ahead and move into Destiny 3. Destiny 3, after we've defeated the Witness, and for whatever year that remains, we're going to be wrapping up the fallout from that. We are going to start chasing after Xivu Arath. And I know I probably butchered that name, but we're going to chase after Xivu. Um, and as we chase after them, they descend into a galaxy we've never been to before. And that takes us away from the light of the Traveler. Now, our ghost stays alive. He doesn't have the same type of problems he had at the beginning of Destiny 1. Or, sorry, Destiny 2. But now we're looking at a different set of powers, a different set of situations going on. So, first and foremost, this would allow the introduction of new species. And I'm talking like enemy species. So, right now we have the Cabal, we have the Hive, we have the Scorn, we have the Fallen. And we also have the Taken, if you want to count them as their own species. Because of that, we could actually move into a different area and have two new species of enemies. Not like ones we've seen before. Now, I would think that the Hive and probably the Cabal would still be returning enemies, but with a reduced presence. And since I forgot about the Vex earlier. And maybe the Vex, exploring different parts of the galaxy and so forth and so on, blah 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 blah. But you could introduce new species. Um, After that, what happens is, as we chase down Xivu Arath, we find ourselves in a position where we are having to get the light again, but this time it comes from, and I'm going to say brother here, is the best word I can think of, but a brother or sister to the Traveler. So now we get three new subclasses. Well, two new subclasses and basically a new one. And an old returning one. Personally, I think Solar or Arc should stay because those are causal. I would think that those would be causal loops types of things, where you would need either heat or electricity to keep yourself going, even as a whatever the Traveler happens to be. So Arc because it's energy, Solar because it's warm. So you would get three subclasses. Like I said, Solar or Arc. You would get a Darkness subclass, maybe Strand. Maybe we keep Strand, or maybe we get a different type of Darkness subclass. And then finally, we get a Kinetic subclass, a non-elemental subclass. And that non-elemental subclass will be the first time we actually see something like this. And I do actually have an idea for more subclasses as the game expands, including a subclass that is predominantly based around AoE explosive damage. Yes, I know that's a little Borderlands, but I think it would work in this situation. I think it would work really well, actually. But for first, we would start out with Kinetic. We would start out with Solar or Arc, and then we would also have a Darkness subclass, so either Stasis, which could be completely reworked, or Strand. And this would give us our ability sets starting out the game. And then as we move on from there, we begin to fight Sifu of Wrath, who has learned about other ways, other different hive magics, that is allowing her to begin to regain her strength again. Yeah, I know I said this word again several times in a row. I'm alright with that. I'm sorry about the coughing. I don't have an editing program right now, so I won't be able to edit those out. But with all that said, that is where we begin out Destiny 3. We're in a new place, which doesn't have to conform to our version of what we see as reality. So we're not looking at specifically like trees. We could be looking at biomechanical stuff. We could be looking at maybe even a Vex homeworld, where it's entirely mechanical. We could find a world that seems to be comprised entirely of that blue data stuff that we saw in Node Avalon. So there's a lot there that can be done that could be really neat to do by exploring different galaxies and different parts of different galaxies. So we move away from the Sol system, and maybe we go to Alpha Centauri. Or we leave the Milky Way altogether. And the only reason and I would say that it would be more than just us, we would bring along the rest of the Vanguard. The reason why we're able to survive in that space is because we are Guardians, because we have the light. But some of the Guardians stay back on Earth, that way they can continue to defend Earth and the Traveler there. And that's what I think would work out really well. I think it would work out significantly better, if we keep with the current 3.0 style of mechanics for the subclasses, we would be able to actually progress further from there. They could come up with new ideas for it. But I think this would work. Chasing Sifu of Wrath away from Earth, away from the Traveler. We find a sister or brother to the Traveler in some other galaxy or some other hell, let's go paracausal universe. And we find ourselves in these different places that is significantly different. And we could see how much is actually changed. And I think that would work out really well. I think it'd bring a lot of people back, and I think a lot of people would enjoy the game to a very, very high degree and just keep playing. I think it's probably the best idea that they can have, unless there's something in the final shape that is just so amazing that it keeps us there longer. I think that we could if they play their cards right with this one, they could get to that point where we're not looking at just a Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 which introduced the class abilities. We would be looking at something between the differences of Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, where the differences are significant. Or sorry, Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3, where you don't go from just having one tree, you go to having 3 trees, and you can build differently, and it's significantly different. And I think that could work out, especially for a game like this, which has that live system set up. But those are just my thoughts on it. If you have thoughts about it, leave them in the comments below. I'd be glad to hear them and see what you guys have to say about it. Again, my defense for Destiny 3 is not off of changing the engine, updating the whatever you want. I think that from a narrative point of view, it would do well to change over to something different. But with that said, I want to say, as always, if you like the video, like it, comment, subscribe if you want to. But as always, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it is for you, and may joy be to every last one of you.